NBA 2K16 is a 2015 video game developed by Visual Concepts and published by 2K, and is a successor to NBA 2K15. And while the expectations were high for 2K, they knocked it out of the park with the amount of effort they put into the game. But not only did the game do well from a performance perspective, the cultural impact that sent shockwaves throughout the 2K community gives it one of the many reasons why it's one of the greatest basketball video games of all time. After Pharrell Williams directed NBA 2K15's soundtrack, it was known that it was going to be hard to beat, but somehow, someway, they did. With the soundtrack being developed by DJ Premier, DJ Khaled, and DJ Mustard, just a few of the names involved on the soundtrack consist of names like J. Cole, Rick Ross, Wiz Khalifa, Zedd, Imagine Dragons, Drake, One Republic, Calvin Harris, and that's only a fraction of the amount of amazing artists with amazing songs on the soundtrack. Not to mention 3 songs that would eventually reach number 1 on the top 100 would come from NBA 2K16. After listening to the music in the main menu, you would go to the rosters, and this is where they outdid themselves. The things that were most impressive to me is the teams that were added historically, like the 2000 to 2001 Lakers with Kobe and Shaq, the 04-05 Phoenix Suns with Nash and Stoudemire, the 05-06 Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade and Shaq, the 2008 Houston Rockets with T-Mac and Yao Ming, the 2012-2013 Miami Heat, the Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady Raptors from 2000, the 2003 Mavericks with Dirk and Steve Nash, and even the 2004 Minnesota Timberwolves who had Kevin Garnett in his prime. And once you got to playing with one of these games, the gameplay was more realistic and a major improvement from NBA 2K15. The one thing I'll mention about the gameplay is that it was more realistic. One of the issues with NBA 2K15, and there wasn't a ton of, was the unrealistic amount of made jump shots we saw in the game. Essentially, if you had an above average shooter and you released a shot at the right time, you'd never miss an open look from 3-point range. Shout out NBA 2K15 Shane Larkin. That just wasn't realistic, and it made head-to-head games more like a 3-point contest with some dunking mixed in. Forget everything you did in NBA 2K15 because NBA 2K16's made to miss shot determination is entirely different. To put it plainly, you will play simulation style basketball or you will lose. A lot. It's just that simple. Bad shots rarely go in and great shots don't always fall. And that's how basketball was always supposed to be played in real life. And you really get an appreciation for the concept when you play head to head with another person. Visually, NBA 2K has progressed to a level most games only hope to reach. They don't require any filters or touch-ups. Simply pause the game and just about any point you can catch a glimpse of photorealistic player renders and lifelike environments. Over the last 2 years, the series has nailed most of its players with a few guys routinely missed. Most if not all of these guys have been accurately captured in NBA 2K16. But it's not just the faces, it's the body types as well. In the past, NBA 2K has been raked over the coals for having players too muscular or too skinny. In NBA 2K16, heavier guys are represented well and there's an overall distinction between the different body frames in the league. Not to mention the halftime show with Shaq and Ernie finally got Kenny the Jet Smith on, making 3/4 of the entire NBA crew. And it actually felt like a realistic halftime show, with you looking over highlights, but also looking at stats in the game. And it actually feels like a halftime show you would see in real life. But how about my career? Well, I'm proud to say this is one of the best MyCareers of all time. From high school to college and eventually to the big leagues, you follow Freak in his circle of family and friends as they deal with all type of difficult questions that often come into the life with a professional athlete. What college offers you the richest opportunities? Should you get a degree or enter the draft early while your stock is high? Can childhood friends be detrimental once you're forced into the media's watchful eye? The story opens strongly by giving you the freedom to choose your high school and college, but that agency is quickly snatched away once your career begins to take off. There are multiple sequences, such as declaring for the draft, where your friends, family, and potential agent are weighing in your options what seems to be the build-up to the biggest decision of your life. But this player freedom is a facade. The story plays out in a linear fashion where things you really only can control are the team you sign with and how you allocate your stats. During your journey, you struggle with your childhood best friend, and butt heads with your twin sister, who also acts as your manager. The dialogue can get corny, especially when your angry team owner awkwardly throws out street lingo, but the writing and delivery is leaps and bounds ahead of what it's been used to in the past. This is the best MyCareer has ever been and ever will be. And the transition from high school hoops to the professional league is well paced. And the transition from high school hoops to the professional league is not only well paced, but it's much more personal. Living the dream itself isn't all that MyCareer has to offer though. The main narrative wraps up in about 5 hours or after you complete your first year in the NBA. That's when the training wheels come off. Instead, you play a few key games in a single season while dealing with personal drama. The second act of your MyCareer asks you to manage a full year's schedule. Regular games are supplemented with off days when you're free to speak with your manager to get sponsors, practice with your team, or spend time with other NBA stars to improve your image. It's a nice change of pace from the normal grind of playing 82 regular season games, and while your remaining years in the league lack the prompt circumstances in the intro, my career is an alluring journey. Spike Lee made this one of the most interesting and realistic My Careers 2K ever had, and it's so surprising that it doesn't get enough praise and goes under the radar, purely for the fact that its realism, to friends and family, all the way to chatting with the NBA players before a game, is something that has never been seen before. Not only My Career, but MyTeam got a huge boost. Like in Team Builder, you're able to upload any image as a logo, and completely redesign uniforms, arenas, and courts. What's even better is that the same editor is now available in MyTeam. The mode that blends card collecting with fantasy sports, concepts, and gaming is now allowing you to truly make your squad your own. There are also several new challenges and modes to keep you entertained, and earning VC that can be used in several areas of the game. The one thing I loved about NBA 2K MyTeam, when it comes to 2K16 specifically, was the fact that all the cards were properly rated. The ratings you saw on the cards that were starters in NBA 2K16 MyTeam were their ratings when you actually looked at the roster. And to this day, they haven't really gone back to that concept. Like James Harden was a 92 when he was a 92 in the game. Steph Curry was a 93 when he was a 93 in the game. Chris Paul was a 90. LeBron was a 94. Everything made sense because there were no high overall players in the game, so it actually made it more useful to see those cards. And the fact that there were only 5 99s throughout the entire game, one of them where you have to collect every single card in the game, which just proves that they really didn't care about rankings. They actually just cared about what the card entails, and it actually got you hype whenever you got the card from a pack. And the ratings were realistic, making you actively look at stats when you wanted to rank up in online modes in the lower ranks, where you were only allowed one silver card, and only silver squad, and only gold squad. It really was really interesting how they did it. Speaking of MyTeam, let me tell you about the handful of YouTubers that made NBA 2K16 so great. Back in 2016, when I would watch when I was in high school, there are so many YouTubers that got their big break playing NBA 2K16. I mean, for MyTeam, you had people like Troydan, OSN, Jesser, and Cash Nasty. For the stuff like My Park and MyCareer, you had Chris Smooth, Stacks Montana, Pretty Boy Fredo, and Flight really took off. Then you have the people who did the rebuilds and what ifs, like CSB, Six Friends of Steel, Lost and Unbound, Mike Korzemba, Crispy Flakes, A Funky Diabetic, Click Productions, King of the Fourth Quarter. All these people really got their break when it came to playing NBA 2K16. And it is so cool to see that all of them really grew into the people that they are today, because most of them had their most popular videos when they started playing on NBA 2K16 with something like a stupid rebuild or a MyTeam head-to-head wager. Not only did they entertain, they influenced another round of people playing the game. Streamers like Queso started off playing NBA 2K, and it's crazy to think that probably even more that I can't name off the top of my head started off playing NBA 2K because of those people who played back in NBA 2K16. NBA 2K16 really hit the mark because it nailed what its players wanted in a basketball game. The MyCareer mode was like living out your hoop dreams starting from high school and climbing your way to NBA glory. The gameplay felt smooth and responsive with the players moving and reacting realistically, especially compared to 2K15. Plus, the graphics were top notch, making every dunk and crossover look insanely cool. The commentary and soundtrack added to the vibe, making you feel like you were really courtside. Overall, NBA 2K16 just captured the essence of basketball in a way that kept gamers coming back for more. The thing that stood out to me about NBA 2K16 was just the pure variety it had. It was still when MyTeam wasn't money hungry. It started getting into it, but not until the latter years. You had an actual good MyGM mode and an actual good MyLeague where you can control an entire team and not have to worry about there being bare bone features. And then you had a good career mode. A good career mode where there was an actual impactful story for the first season. And after that first season, you can then traverse with other people who played My Career mode and went into My Parks with 3 different factions where you all sort of competed against each other. There's so many more features that I'm definitely forgetting that others will swear by, like the black top. There's like the NBA draft, like the whole entire offseason with My League. There's so much. I love this game to death, and I wanted to just give like a retrospective on this game because I think it's one of the best basketball games, if not the best basketball game of all time. I don't see another game even touching it, especially when it comes to the improvement from the first year of NBA 2K15 where, Deion Waiters was saying this.
We can control theirs ourselves. Forget the ref, the fan, even the opponent. Handle your business, and the rest will take care of itself, all right?
Yeah, we don't we don't talk about that. For real, I think this is a little bit of nostalgia hitting me especially, but there's also this, it's just so good. Video games used to be good like this, and now you have sports games every year just getting worse and worse. And it's insane to me. I don't understand it, but if you guys liked NBA 2K16 or played it for yourself, let me know down by commenting below, and let me know your favorite moments, whether it was My Career, My League, My Team, Play Now mode, the different seasons. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell for future notifications, and I will see you guys later. Peace.